Yo, what's up, guys? How you doing? It's AJ here with another vlog, and today there's a question I like to answer because I've been thinking of writing an article on my travel blog about either you should stay in an Airbnb or hotel when you're traveling. So that's what I'm going to be covering today in this short vlog. So maybe you want, maybe you're planning maybe to move to Mombasa, to travel, to explore Mombasa, but you have no idea whether, you don't know if it's a good idea to stay in Airbnb or a hotel. So what I can tell you, for you to make this decision, first of all, you have to go with your preference. You have to ask yourself, what do you like? What's your preference? Do you want to cook while traveling so that you can save money as you're doing so? Or are you the kind of guy who maybe kind of guy or kind of girl who likes luxurious side of things while traveling? So it depends on what you want. And the other thing is that it also depends on the location where you're going. For instance, if maybe you're going to a location where it will be very hard for you to find any Airbnbs around the location that you would like to explore, this is actually going to be so hard for you to find an Airbnb, so you'll have no option but to choose a hotel. And maybe sometimes you might not even find hotels where maybe you're planning to go somewhere deep. Maybe I don't want to mention anywhere. So maybe you're going somewhere deeper in another region, maybe too far away from the cities, and it's like very isolated areas. And there are no Airbnbs, there are no hotels, there are no. The only thing you can think of maybe is there's some guest house. Maybe you should stay in them. So okay, let me just give it guys a short answer on what you should do. So when you are in a place, you in a location, let me say you have both hotels, you have Airbnbs, and you want to choose. The first thing I'll recommend you do is, first of all, you go with a preference. What do you want? You want to stay in an Airbnb? How does it look for you? How amazing does it seem for you? For me, since I've been traveling around, when I was in Mombasa, I went to several counties. From Mombasa to Nairobi and other counties, I usually preferred, most of the times, I usually stayed in Airbnbs. But for the first time when I went to Malindi, I chose a different thing. So I stayed in hotels actually. The 2 days that I stayed there, the first day, the first hotel I stayed was at around Babalao, close to Alaskan Market in Malindi. And the second day, before I left for Atamu, I stayed at Joy's Villa. So all these two are hotels. And you may ask me, why did I choose to stay in hotels consecutive days? The 2 days that I was staying in, that I was exploring Malindi. You may ask me that. The answer is actually I didn't want to stay in hotel on the second day, but I did a mistake. I didn't book the Airbnb early enough, and to be honest, I traveled to Malindi during the time when there was a high influx of tourists. Let me say it's kind of like a high season. And when it gets high season in Malindi, everyone is traveling. So this means lots of places, lots of hotels, lots of Airbnbs. They will be booked up. If you don't book early in advance, you actually might miss a place to stay, and this is going to suck. So that was the actual thing. The last day, actually after I went, I think it's on the first day. It's on the first day. Did I stay for 2 days? Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Okay, so let me talk about almost on the let me say on the first day. On the first day, that's when I went to Malindi Museum, and after there I went to Vasco da Gama. And after I left from Vasco da Gama, I had to book an Airbnb early that morning before I left for it's all in the same day, previous day before I start traveling to Vasco da Gama. So I had to book, but I didn't book, thinking that maybe if I go back to the, let me say, I go back maybe later on online and check on the Airbnbs, I'll find that they are there, but that was not the case. So I actually found out that the spot I wanted to book for the night was actually booked. So I was really, really stranded. So I didn't know what to do. So I had to stay in a hotel for the second day. But I can say it was a great thing because I got to spend a luxurious way. I did it the luxurious way in Malindi for the last day before I went to Atamu. So it depends with the preference. But for me, I usually prefer staying in Airbnbs because it's easier. You can cook in your Airbnbs, kind of like that. And most of the Airbnbs, when you get there, most of the time you'll find even some food that are left there. Maybe if you want to cook, you find cooking oil, you find coffee, you find some snacks at the same time, which is very different compared to when you go to hotels. Some hotels will not most of the hotels, when you try to book there, maybe stay there, what you'll find mostly it's maybe coffee maybe, and most of them will actually ask you to go to their restaurants that they have around there so that they benefit from for the accommodation that you've paid for, and at the same times the meals that you pay for. So I think it's always a good idea to stay in Airbnbs, and in most cases Airbnbs are usually cheaper than most of hotels. And for instance, I'm not talking about villas, but in most cases that is usually the case. You can find an Airbnb starting from $10. And most of the hotels, maybe you start to find a price starting from 20 to going upwards. So it means they're a bit expensive compared to Airbnbs. And another thing is that with Airbnbs, you actually have let me say, kind of like a freedom, because when you book an Airbnb, maybe if you're traveling with your partner, it's like let me say, you have the entire property, so you don't have to worry about maybe coming across someone else. Maybe, I don't know. So it's like you have the entire property. If you book, you find an apartment, maybe a building that is just isolated. It's just only the property that's around there. That means you're going to enjoy yourself. You're just going to be you and your partner at that time for the number of days that you're going to stay at that place, until you decide to move out of that place. So it means you're kind of enjoying your freedom. At the same time, you don't have to meet people. But it's different. In hotels, you're not going to be the only one staying in that hotel. So this means you'll come across other people. So if you don't want that, you just want maybe a lone moment away from the other people, then I think you should choose Airbnb. But in some cases whereby maybe you'll have to choose hotels, it's when maybe you find that the Airbnbs where you are, maybe you're in the middle of the city, and most of the properties that are around there, most of them are hotels. You have no choice but to book hotels, especially depending on your location. If maybe, let's say you have traveled to, maybe say you have traveled to Nairobi, for instance, and your first intention is that you want to explore the city, maybe get to the parks and move around. So you'll have no choice but to stay in the hotels around there, just in the closer proximity. So that maybe, for instance, because if you do book an Airbnb, this means you'll be far away from town, and that's also going to consume a lot of time, and you're going to waste lots of money moving from one point to another. So when it comes to this, sometimes it just depends, as I told you earlier, guys, your preferences, what you prefer. And but for me, in most cases, wherever I travel, I usually prefer Airbnbs because I do like cooking sometimes, so I like to cook for myself. So that's what I do most of the time, because you need to save money to traveling, especially if you're traveling on a budget. other than eating outside. So that's my preference. So guys, that's what I wanted to share with you guys. That's an article I wanted to write about, but I didn't. So hopefully guys, if you are thinking of maybe staying in an Airbnb or a hotel, yeah, hope that is going to help you out. So guys, if you're new to this YouTube channel, don't forget to subscribe. AJ here, I'm all about traveling, exploring. Very soon that's going to be happening. And for now, I'm in Eldoret, just not traveling right now. I'm just settling somewhere for the time being. And maybe hopefully when I get out of Eldoret, the journey is going to be amazing, because I have big plans for you guys. So if you've been watching me for a while, you guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. If you're new here, my name is Abdul Jabbar Ali. You can call me AJ in short form. So thank you guys so much. Thank you so much for watching. And AJ, we'll see you in my next video.